fucking movie is he in? What dumb shit are you about to pull on me?
The dad from the Lego movie.
Are you Lord Business?
Alrighty, welcome back. This should be episode 7, I think. Hopefully.
Something like that.
Before we get into anything, I have some housekeeping things I want to address. Number 1, apologies for the scattered uploads. YouTube has been fucking with me hardcore. Some of our videos are like, yep, these are copyright striked. Some of them are like, no, we'll let this one through. And I have no idea why, but I think it should be fixed now. Number 2, we should be we should have already started short form content by the time this comes out. I will hopefully be uploading the first one tomorrow from the time we're recording this. It'll be on YouTube Shorts and on our TikTok, which is BS_Inc_pod, all lowercase. That'll be in the description. And hopefully soon we're going to start video recording the episodes so you can look at our lovely faces while we talk. That's all I have. Good. Anyways, we got a lot to talk about, so where do you want to start?
Yes. Let's kick it off with the WWE.
Let's kick it off with the WWE.
I want to get you there a little bit.
Okay.
Because we had the Royal Rumble.
I'm going to skip SmackDown because a lot of it
just led up to the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. So we got the Royal Rumble. I'm going to start with the 4 things here that are all in caps for me.
Okay.
Number 1, Cody's back, and he won.
Yes.
Number 2, Sammy turned on the Bloodline.
Beautiful.
Number 3, Logan Paul is back.
Kind of surprised, but not as much.
Number 4, and the one I'm personally most excited about, Pat McAfee is back.
Yes, that was fun. Because, clearly the whole thing is, big event. You know, there's 30 people coming. You don't know who's coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
We watched it together, and I told him before the match, I'm like, I think Pat McAfee's going to enter the Rumble. And then he comes out before the Rumble starts, and I'm like, I'm taking the W. I don't care.
He was there, just not for the Rumble.
Uh-huh.
Not competing.
I kind of wish he'd come back in the Rumble, because there were very few surprises in that. I
feel really like 2 or 3.
Yeah, there was Booker T.
Booker T, who was already there, because he's
on the pre-show.
Yeah.
There was Logan Paul coming back, which was cool, but he's also
it's
a
not
superstar
the person I'm
already.
looking for.
There was no, Edge's return or Christian's return or anything like that.
Yeah, the biggest one we had was probably Booker T.
Mm-hmm. So I just kind of wish he'd come back in the Rumble and then join commentary, especially because they started with the Rumble.
He was third.
Yeah.
And he gets thrown out, and then he just joins
the commentary.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It didn't happen. How did you feel about Cody entering number 30?
I feel like he needs to take a place that is unique, and after first and second, it's kind of hard to pick a good spot for him to be in, you know?
But 30 isn't, now there are, most people say 4 winners. However, there are 5 Royal Rumble winners from the number 30 slot.
Yeah.
Undertaker did it in 07. John Cena did it in 08. Brock Lesnar did it. Triple H did it when he won the WWE title. And now Cody. So 30 isn't really unique anymore.
But also would make... from a story perspective, it makes sense that 30 wins it the most.
I would have far preferred that he had come in number 1.
And just went
the
it?
Distance. I don't know that he could have done that.
Yeah.
Because he's been out of the ring for a while, and I don't know that he's still 100%.
But 30 you think was too far in?
30 was just well, that's cool. Because we already knew he was back, we knew who the 30 was.
So it should have been he switched place with Logan? That way, the last person would actually been a surprise?
I would have preferred that it was, Brock at number 30.
And he just goes in and starts tearing things up?
And Cody was, go in the distance, and then you hear that, bow, wow, 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 at 30. And Cody's like, oh, shit.
Now we have to actually do things.
But once again, it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it. This is my first Rumble.
Uh-huh.
I enjoyed it a lot. It felt a little underwhelming because, again, there's only 2 surprises. Yeah. But I still enjoyed the whole match. It was fun.
The one thing a lot of these are little nitpicks I have. The one thing I genuinely disliked about this Rumble was Gunther breaking Ray's record.
It felt like a very odd pick to break the record.
And Ray holds that record in the 2006 Royal Rumble when he won, which he won because of Eddie.
Eddie passing.
Yeah. So it was like, I feel like there should have been something else there.
Yeah, like he should have got thrown out a little earlier.
Yeah. Give him, like, the hour, but I don't think he should have broken Ray's record. But I don't write for the WWE. So oh well. That's all I have on the men's Royal Rumble.
It was just a little... I felt
Rumble.
Gunther being the person, like, the number one going for it, and then Cody has to beat him was odd. Like, for him as a pick.
I think they're trying to give Gunther the push, which I don't mind, but it just didn't sit right with me.
I think he needs more character development. Like, he just seems kind of boring.
I would have preferred Sheamus to do it, Drew McIntyre to do
Yeah.
it, Bobby Lashley to do it, Brock Lesnar to do it.
I would have preferred a lot of people. Seth Rollins, I would have preferred.
Seth Rollins, especially because Seth and Cody had that rivalry going before Cody got injured.
Yeah.
And they did call back to that. So, but we don't write for the WWE.
Yeah.
The only thing I have on the women's Rumble is that I hope Nia Jax doesn't come back full time.
No?
Because she kind of sucks. Like, it was cool to see her.
But you don't want to see her full time?
No. I pray that she does not come back full time. However, Asuka's back, and I do hope that she comes back full time, which it looks like she will.
Yeah.
Because she's in the Elimination Chamber match.
I really just wish that there was a big title for the women to compete for that made this feel more interesting. You know, because...
The problem is that there's no big name that you would latch on to in the women's division.
Yeah. I think if they did it with Ronda Rousey back when she first started, it might have worked, because I didn't watch the WWE when she started, but it still felt like, because she went from UFC being great and then she just joined the WWE, it was like a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Which I felt because it feels weird, because for the men's Royal Rumble, you get a shot at Roman, you get a shot at these giant titles, and then the women's, it's like, hey, you can pick one of these that is kind of on bid every 3 weeks.
It does pose a problem that they've been doing the thing with, what is her name? The woman who keeps challenging Charlotte and Bianca for the titles on just the weekly shows.
Yep, I know you're talking about, but I can't think of her name.
I can't think of her name. I'll think of it in a little while. Anyways, like, it makes those titles feel a little less important. I like the SmackDown Championship on Charlotte. She makes it look good, but I don't think Bianca does that for the Raw Women's Championship.
Do you think he needs a change from her?
I would like to see it on Becky Lynch.
Mm. So, okay, I got you.
I mean, it's not terrible where it is. And then I think the only other thing I have on the Rumble is the Pitch Black match was a fucking trip and a half.
It was very weird.
I was like...
And, this was clearly Bray Wyatt's match.
Yeah.
Because how weird would it be if he lost the Pitch Black match?
Mm-hmm.
It definitely felt weird. It felt like it was just like glow in the dark.
Yeah.
Like when I heard Pitch Black, I thought
it was just a street fight with glow in the dark.
Yeah. I was thinking like genuine like pitch black. And like clearly like they both were like wristbands, like something like very subtle.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess wouldn't have shown well on TV. But this still feels like this was barely a new thing.
I don't know. It
was a fun match.
I will say, I am so in on the Bray Wyatt storyline, and I want to see where it goes. However, we're getting to that point where we need to get some answers soon, or it's going to get
annoying
and drawn out. So you got to kind of weigh the options. Like,
yeah.
I'm in on it,
but you need to get it going.
But we need answers soon. Either answers or something big to happen.
Yeah.
But that's all I have on the Rumble, unless you have any of that.
The two Rumbles, I think that's about it.
Okay.
Which leaves just...
Other than Sammy turning, but we're going to talk about that
bit.
in a second here. Because I want to talk about Raw first.
Okay.
Cody's opening promo was one of the best promos I have seen in a decent while.
It was very alluring. I liked it a lot.
I cannot wait until they come out with the shirts that say wrestling has more than one royal family.
Yeah.
Especially because later that night, he came out to fight Finn Balor, and they had that quote, and then his music hit. That's going to be his thing going forward. So, I want that shirt. The one thing I will say is I didn't like that the Judgment Day interrupted.
Yeah, it felt a little...
I was like, that's weird. I mean, I know you need someone for Cody to face in the meantime, but I would have preferred...
him finish the thing.
Logan Paul, Seth, Gunther, someone that was at the end there in the Rumble, not, wow, you threw Dominic out. That's crazy.
Somebody who was like, he actually like...
And then didn't fight Dominic.
Yeah, he fought Finn Balor.
It was, do you know who threw Finn Balor out? Edge, so.
Who? That's the thing about Judgment Day. It throws me off so much that it's just like, oh, you're disrespecting Dominic, so fight anybody else.
Yeah, I didn't like that they interrupted it. I think Seth would have done well, but I don't know if they want to revisit the Seth rivalry. So I would have liked to see maybe Gunther and him go into a thing until WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. They interrupted, and then Cody and Edge beat the shit out of the Judgment Day. So I'm happy in the end.
Beautifully.
Let's see. Oh, also, when... I think I noticed it, and I think I'm right here. If you notice, there were two kids... If you're looking at the Megatron, there were two kids to the left in Cody Rhodes outfits.
I did not notice this.
There were two kids to the left in Cody Rhodes outfits, and when Cody comes out the second time to fight Finn Balor, he hands them the American Nightmare weightlifting belt.
Oh.
He 100% saw them after his promo, went backstage, went to the trainers, and was like, listen, I'm giving one of these away.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see that, but I love that.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened, because he came out with it the second time and like walked over to them and handed them the belt.
That's beautiful.
Anyways. Okay. I've seen a lot going around that people want Seth versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania.
Okay.
I disagree vehemently. Because for the past couple of years, we've got this thing where we get a celebrity wrestler.
Yeah.
We had Bad Bunny, and we had Logan Paul this year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Logan Paul is no longer a celebrity wrestler.
He is a wrestler.
He is just a wrestler now. And Seth is one of those people, he's like The Miz, he can make anybody look good, no matter whether they know what they're doing or not.
Yeah. So you think that's why Logan would be good against him? So Logan can learn the ropes?
Logan already knows the ropes. That's why I don't want them going against each other, because Logan is already a wrestler. That spot with Ricochet in the Rumble showed that he knows what he's doing.
Oh, the jump. That was
wild. That showed that he knows what he's doing. I want Seth to be the one to go against that celebrity guy that we get, or that fringe guy that we get.
Who's only there every so often?
Yeah.
Like Hardy?
Hardy, someone like that. Who, he can make them look good because he is so good at performing in the ring.
So who would you like Logan Paul to have a thing with? Now that he's coming back more.
I wouldn't mind Ricochet after that spot.
After that?
That was fucking crazy. Especially if you could get, like, Bobby Lashley or Brock or someone to side with Logan before WrestleMania and have, like, Ricochet and Logan going at it in the ring and Braun Strowman and another big
guy
dude going at it outside the ring.
Because Braun and Ricochet are buddying up now. That would be really cool, actually.
Let's see, what else do I got here? Okay, we're going to talk about this real quick. Rick Boogs is back. It makes sense that he came back at the same time as Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
I don't know that I care because he's just like a mid-card competitor, but I mean, good for him. Let me ask you a question here for a second.
Oh, goodness.
Does the WWE give a fuck about the women's tag team titles?
I'm going to go with no.
I don't know. They've been on Io Sky and Dakota... Wait. Dakota Kai and Io Sky. I think. Some combination of those four names.
Those vowels?
Yeah. Some combination of those four names since they debuted, basically.
I feel like they're really underrepresenting women's wrestling, period.
I agree.
Like, I feel like it's Rhea Ripley because she's a part of the Judgment Day, and then a lot of other people who just kind of get shoved to the back.
I'm hoping that changes at Elimination Chamber, where we have the Elimination Chamber match for the right to face Charlotte.
Okay.
Or, sorry, the right to face Bianca. Because Rhea is facing Charlotte at WrestleMania.
So it's the other one.
But I also wish they would take the tag titles off of Damage Control and have an actual women's tag division. But I digress.
So, you mentioned Elimination Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
You want to give me a rundown? Because I understand the concept. I don't know what's at stake or what the rules are.
Okay, normally in the Elimination Chamber, you would have the world champion.
Okay.
And 5 other people.
Okay.
And 2 of them start in the ring. 4 of them are locked in pods in this steel structure around the ring.
Okay.
Every 5 minutes, I want to say.
They get released?
one pod gets released.
Was this like when it was 2 rings that were put together?
No, that's War Games.
I know, but is it the same series, like kind of idea where it's like they're in a cage until X amount of time passes, then they enter?
Yes.
Okay.
And whoever is the last one standing at the end used to win the title.
Okay.
Now, so far confirmed, we have a United States Elimination Chamber, so whoever's standing at the end will win the United States title. And we have a right to face Bianca Belair at WrestleMania Elimination Chamber.
Okay.
So whoever's left standing at the end will face Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. We're not getting the world titles in an Elimination Chamber. They are most likely just going to be in a match with Sami Zayn.
Okay.
Which, by the way, is the WWE's biggest mistake ever.
What?
They have Cody Rhodes,
okay,
who has the right to face the world champion at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
They're 100% building up that he's going to face Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
They're going to have Sami Zayn face Roman at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
Elimination Chamber's in Montreal.
In Canada, where he's from.
You know what's a really bad idea? Have Sami Zayn lose in Montreal. That's only going to want the Sami Zayn to rematch and beat Roman at WrestleMania, which then can't happen because Cody
Rhodes has the
Royal Rumble win.
Unless Sami beats Roman in Montreal.
Maybe, but I don't think they're going to let Roman get that close to 1,000 days without him losing the Universal Champion. Do
you think he challenges for one?
Maybe, but then you're kind of like.
Then Cody
if Roman gets to WrestleMania with both, and Cody's going after both, I don't think Cody wins at WrestleMania, because I don't think the WWE is not going to get Roman to 1,000 days.
So 1,000 days for what?
The Universal, the blue belt,
and WrestleMania isn't at 1,000 days, or is?
WrestleMania is like 40 days away from 1,000 days.
Oh my goodness!
He'll be at like 900 and maybe it's like 80. He'll be at like 920.
So you think Cody's going to lose
by the time WrestleMania rolls around? If he's challenging for both belts, yes.
Okay.
That's why I thought Cody was only going to challenge for the WWE title,
not the Universal.
That's why I thought he was going to be like, I only want the title that evaded my family for years.
That way they can keep the Universal on Roman for the 1,000 days.
Yeah, but they didn't. Speaking of which, why the fuck wasn't the Bloodline story continued on Raw?
No, they just kind of recapped it and then left it.
They were like, we'll find out on SmackDown. I understand that the Bloodline is a SmackDown thing. That's great. They've been invading Raw for the past month and a half.
Yeah, they've been on both for a while.
That was 100% the focal point of your Royal Rumble.
Yes.
You want to hit that shit 2 days later. You don't want to wait almost a week.
You open it up with Cody and you end it off with Bloodline. That way you get the highs
Pretty
of
much
the whole event.
There is no reason they should have not done anything with it on Raw.
Instead, it's just Cody up and Cody down at the beginning and end.
However, but
yes,
watching Sami turn
was
I got flashbacks to watching Seth hit Roman in the back with the chair to break up the Shield. I was sitting in that chair.
Is it a tradition for Roman to just be in a position of power and people to betray him?
Apparently. They're standing circa 2014, 2015. Roman, Seth, Dean Ambrose standing in the ring. Triple H, I want to say Kane and Randy Orton standing on the ramp.
Okay.
Seth has a chair in his hand. The Authority, Triple H's faction, and the Shield, Roman's faction, are feuding. Seth has a chair in his hand. They all look like they're ready to go at each other. Seth takes the chair back and hits Roman in the back. And then hits Dean Ambrose and joins Triple H and breaks up the Shield.
Beautiful.
This, Roman hands Sami the chair. It's like, you're right, I shouldn't do it. You need to do it. Roman standing there taunting Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And Sami hits him.
He starts getting in Sami's face, too. Like, he starts hitting Sami and shit. Turns
around, taunts KO, and Sami just whacks him with that chair.
Beautiful.
And the acting, I would not be surprised if Jay didn't know that this was coming. Like, if they kept Jay out on purpose. Either that, or Jay is an amazing actor.
Jay's a lot better actor than we thought.
Because Jay, the look on Jay's
Jay
face
sells the fact
Sami
that he's shocked.
Roman,
like,
oh my god. And then, this was preceded by, I think we counted 15 super kicks to KO.
The face? Yeah.
And succeeded.
You know what I mean. Succeeded by
4 super kicks to Sammy.
Yeah. It
And
was
then
a lot.
ripping the honorary Uso shirt off of him.
And beating the crap out of him.
Oh my god. Meanwhile, Jay is storming out of the ring and going back to the back.
Yeah.
Wow.
These cracks
And that's
are
how
really
you end the
showing
show.
up. Yeah. And then you don't bring it up on Raw at all. It's just like, hey, this happened. Remember this happened? Goodbye.
The other one thing I want to say about the Royal Rumble, we didn't need a Hardy performance.
No, that was terrible.
It was bad, and instead of having him do it like on the entrance ramp or in front of the curtain, they decided they had to take apart the entire goddamn ring to get all the
Make a
shit in and
stage.
out. Which took a good 30 minutes out of that 4-hour and 15-minute show.
Yeah. For a performance.
It didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one more thing on Raw, which I thought was really cool, and I know you didn't notice because we talked about it earlier. Cody is facing Finn Balor with Dominic on the outside.
Yeah.
This is post Dominic, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley getting the shit beat out of them by Edge and Beth Phoenix. And Cody goes for the crossroads on Finn Balor and hits the first crossroads. And rolls over and gets up and hits the second crossroads. And rolls over and gets up and hits the third crossroads. Now, either this was just really cool by Cody, or this was 100% a callback to when Eddie used to do the three amigos. Which was a suplex, roll over, get up, a suplex, roll over, get up, a suplex. And I just thought it was cool as fuck to be like, Dominic, suck it, and hit 3 crossroads.
I think shitting on Dominic is my favorite thing in the WWE right now.
I wholeheartedly agree. Speaking of Dominic, I have 2 more things in the WWE category here. One of which, let's squash the Rey Mysterio rumors right here, right now.
Okay.
1991 Royal Rumble. Macho Man Randy Savage no-shows the Royal Rumble because he's pissed at the company. A decision was made on live TV and relayed to the announcers that if you do not come past the curtain and make your entrance by the time the next entrant comes out, you are disqualified from the Royal Rumble. Can we please stop with the let's have Ray and Cody go one-on-one because Ray never got eliminated from the Royal Rumble. He was disqualified because he got injured on SmackDown and they held him out of the Rumble. He was disqualified the second that Dominic broke that curtain. Thank you and good night.
That's the precedent set by
Randy Savage. And it has happened a couple other times. But the first time was the 91
Throw me
Rumble.
out, no. Give me an example.
Nope.
No?
I just know it's happened a couple other times.
I should know if this is one of your pots of trivia that's just like, oh, it was this, this, and this.
No. And then I have a question to pose at you.
Of course.
Where is the Bloodline story going? Because we've got a lot of intersecting
Downhill?
story. Okay, that's fair.
Not in the story's gonna be worse. I mean that clearly the bloodline's breaking. Like, like you can lose Sammy and still have the bloodline, but it's the fact that Jay leaves. First of all, he stops Solo from like waxing Sammy and then leaves. There's the cracks. You have a crack within the tag team champions. It's just gonna start falling apart from here. I think we're gonna see it slowly just whittle away. You know?
Okay. It's not exactly what I meant. I meant you have all of these intersecting lines. You have Sammy and KO could team and go after the tag titles with the Usos.
I don't think that's what's gonna happen.
Except that Jay
is on
left
Sammy's
the
side.
bloodline.
Or like it didn't actively beat the crap out of Sammy.
Yeah. You could have Sammy go after the WWE Universal Championship. Except that you're definitely building Cody up
to do that.
You could have also, who knows what happened to KO?
Yeah, he just got the crap beat out of him for a while, and then
He just got 15 super
Cuts
kicks
to
to the
black.
head and then nothing. You could have
is Cody
Sammy,
a Raw or a SmackDown?
Cody is Raw.
Okay.
You could have Sammy tag with someone else. Like, let's say that the Bloodline holds the tag team titles, not the Usos. So, Jay leaves the Bloodline. Now all of a sudden Jimmy and Solo are the tag champions.
Because somebody has to have it.
Right. You could have Sammy and Cody take the tag championships. Sammy and KO take the tag championships. KO and Cody take the tag championships.
Just some form of those three people.
You got a lot of storylines intersecting here that they kind of have to whittle through.
Yeah. Because You definitely can't just hard reset and then just like, oh, Bloodline's back together and Sammy's just out.
Yeah, you can't just be like, well, what Jay did didn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, you now have to face that. And what I would like to see is somebody challenges for the tag team, and Jay just does it because he feels like he has to, and they lose because Jay and his brother just aren't on the same page.
I would love that. But
who would you want to take it?
The Street Profits.
Yeah.
Street Profits, Imperium, Legado del Fantasma. Those are the three I'm really in on right now.
I feel like of those three, Imperium is probably the most likely to do it. I feel like they've been getting a lot of screen time, and they're really trying to boost Gunther up. So it makes sense if.
But I don't know that having Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci hold the tag titles would boost Gunther. I feel like it might bring him down.
Because he would be more.
Because right now Gunther is the only one there, and he has the Intercontinental Championship. I don't know that having all three of them hold titles
would be helpful.
Yeah,
for his image. I guess.
But it is. We will see on Friday. Unless you have anything to add, that is all I have on the WWE note.
Do you know when Elimination Chamber is?
February something.
Cool.
I can Google it if you give me a second. When is Elimination
Is it Saturday?
2023? It should be. February 18th. Yes, that is a Saturday.
Alright, then we'll have to watch that.
Okay. Works for me.
Hopefully it's not 4.5 hours like the last one.
We can only hope. Alright. Where do you want to go next, Captain?
Let's do the NFL, because somebody was right, somebody was wrong.
The NFL.
Yeah.
And you want to tell me who was right?
You were probably right.
Probably?
Probably.
I was definitely right.
You were definitely
We're getting a fucking Kelsey Bowl.
Yes, we are.
Eagles versus Chiefs, baby. Now.
This makes me feel like the NFL is definitely not scripted, by the way.
Definitely not, or definitely is?
Definitely not. Because those are like the two probably best teams.
I mean, yeah.
It felt like an actual sport where, like, hey, the two best teams are going to the championship. You know? I felt like if it was scripted, they'd be like, yo, we need either Burrow or Brock Purdy to get there to have, like, a, you know, have, like, a kid, like, some underdog. And now it just feels like, hey, the two best teams where you thought were going to go at the beginning are going.
Real quick, before we get to the Super Bowl, let's talk about the conference championships. Because I have a couple of things to say here. I'm going to start off with the one that I have to be very careful about how I word as a Patriots fan.
Yes, you do.
Patrick Mahomes has the potential to be better than Brady. However, but. He is not right now. And he could have a season-ending injury, a career-ending injury, at any point here, and just not be.
I think you are 100% correct.
Especially as a running quarterback.
Oh, yeah. The running quarterback thing is what would A, make him better than Brady, and B, cut his career short.
Yeah.
The thing that makes him better is also the thing that could just ruin it for him.
Mm-hmm. I will say, he is not right now. If he plays this way for another 5-10 years, he's better than Brady.
Oh, yeah. If he consistently does this, because this is what his...
This is his fifth year starting, sixth year in the league.
This is fourth or fifth year going to the AFC Championship.
This is his fifth AFC Championship.
In a row, right?
Yes.
That
all
alone
5
is
years that he
pretty
started,
insane.
He's been to the AFC Championship. Brady still does have the record at 7.
But he's getting there.
Anyways, I just needed to get that out loud.
Third win? In the AFC Championship?
Yes.
Because he's won a Super Bowl, lost a Super Bowl. This is his third Super Bowl.
Yes. You know, he did lose one of those to Brady.
To Brady, yes, he did.
Both an AFC Championship and a Super Bowl.
He has.
So I'm just saying, there will always be that asterisk that he never beat Brady.
Yet. I think it depends on where Brady goes next season.
Brady also might just retire.
He's not going to retire.
Anyways.
He's not going to retire on a losing season and losing first round of the playoffs.
Okay. I think it depends.
It's a win-win for you. Either you get to see more Brady, or he retires the best.
Yeah, there's that. Let's stay on the AFC train here for a second.
Okay.
The officiating in the AFC Championship wasn't that bad.
It wasn't great, to be clear.
It wasn't great, But it also was not the reason the Chiefs won the game.
No. The Chiefs won the game because they're a better team.
Number one. I'm going to go through the major points here. Number one. The second, third down that the Chiefs got. If you watch the fucking wide angle from the hard cam, there is 100% the official whose only job it is to watch the game clock running onto the field to try to stop the play. But the Chiefs snap the ball, and he's like, I'm not going to get fucking smacked by a cornerback who doesn't see me. So they do it afterwards. Also, doesn't matter because the Chiefs punted anyways.
Yeah.
Number two, the intentional grounding on Joe Burrow was 100% intentional grounding. Samaje Perine is like 6 or 7 yards from the ball. It was intentional grounding. Number three, the hold on the play that Patrick Mahomes runs on.
Yeah.
If you look at the rules, if a defensive edge rusher or tackle is going for a rip move, it allows the offensive lineman to hold because he is putting his hands out where you should be, and you are going lower. So he ends up higher, not of his own fault, of your fault.
Also, the way I see it is this. There's this old adage that I grew up hearing is, you can watch any play in football, and there's going to be holding on it.
Also, yes, that.
So I don't... Listen, the officiating wasn't great, but I feel like it's been a trend this season, just overall, where it's like...
Yeah.
I feel like calls haven't been great, and it's been kind of whack all year. I do think the refs need a check. Like, they're getting a little too much. That's not why the Chiefs lost.
No.
Or the Chiefs
Bengals
won, sorry.
lost.
That's not why the Chiefs won, the Bengals lost.
I do have 2 more calls. There was a late hit on Joe Burrow that should have been called roughing the passer. No. The guy definitely slowed down his momentum. Joe Burrow wanted a call and flopped like a goddamn fish the second he got touched. And the final one, the unnecessary roughness to set up the game-winning field goal.
Okay. That was totally unnecessary roughness.
It was 100% unnecessary roughness.
He pushes him after he's like 2 yards ahead and out. I was upset that the kid pushed him.
Right?
Like, this would have been... Listen, I wanted the Bengals to win, okay?
Was it bad? Yes. Was it also unnecessary roughness?
Also, yes.
Also, yes. It can be both. Like, it shouldn't have happened, but he just shouldn't have pushed Patrick.
Do you know how much better that game would have been if he had to kick, like, a 60-yard field goal for the win?
I mean, yeah, but that's wild. Don't push the quarterback out of bounds.
Yeah, don't push him after he's already out.
Also, that Bengals trainer on the side that he ran into...
Schwack. He got messed up.
Absolutely railed into that bench. Oh, my Lord.
That guy had a season-ending injury.
Yeah. That guy had a career-ending injury. I would not step foot back on an NFL sideline if that happened.
I'd be behind the bench, just a couple yards back, like, mm-mm.
All right, and then I have the NFC Championship here.
This was a fun game until it wasn't.
Let's start with, to the San Francisco 49ers fans, your QB problems are only an excuse...
To an extent.
Until they aren't.
Like, yes,
is it
tragic
bad
that you
had
Purdy?
To use Brock Purdy and then lost him and had to go to your 4th string QB and then lost him and had to run Wildcat for a couple of plays? That's terrible. I'm sorry. However, you also lost 31-7.
At some point, that's not a quarterback problem. That's a your defense gave up problem.
Yeah. If you had lost 31-28, maybe that's a quarterback problem. If you had lost 14-7, maybe that's a quarterback problem.
Like, within 3 to 10 points, it's understandable.
Even if you don't count the Devontae Smith catch, that definitely wasn't a catch, you still lost, 24-7?
Yeah, it's still an insane amount.
28-7, whatever you want to call it.
Just a dumb amount.
You still lost by at least 3 scores.
Like, this is supposed to be the best defense in the league, and you just kind of gave up.
So, they're only an excuse until they're not an excuse. Yeah. However...
It is tragic that they lost their quarterback, their 3rd-string quarterback, and their 4th-string quarterback. Had to resort to CMC being quarterback until finally Brock Purdy came in again.
I agree, but that's not the reason you lost the game.
No. Sucks to suck, but that's not why you lost.
Yeah.
Or not directly why.
Also,
I can understand if it's like those people left and then the defense
and then
was
the
like,
defense was
man,
like,
this sucks. We're not going to win.
Right? I can understand that, but...
That's still not a good reason.
No.
Like, a good defense can help the game enough where you can figure it out.
However, not Niners fans, let me differentiate that, not Niners fans, but the San Francisco 49ers should be embarrassed. Number one, your defense gave up that early.
Yeah.
Number two, under no circumstances, I don't care what game it is, I don't care how badly you're getting beat, you don't body slam a guy to the fucking ground in the fucking huddle.
No.
When the Falcons lost from 28-3, did you see Matt Ryan go up and fucking rip a guy down? No. You don't do that shit. Play the game.
You know what we call that? Lack of discipline.
100%.
And that's what makes a terrible football team.
100%. That was some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I digress.
Yeah. Lack of discipline is really what kills a football team.
We already talked about the fact that it's a Kelsey Bowl. Who do you think's going to win?
Which brother's older?
Jason.
He wins.
Is that all you're doing it on?
I feel like whatever... Yeah, I feel like it's definitely going to be that. Jason wins, he retires, his brother keeps going.
Okay.
Travis keeps going.
I agree that the Eagles are going to win, but for a different reason.
Okay.
When the Eagles beat the Patriots, the Golden State Warriors won the NBA Finals. The Houston Astros won the World Series. And then the Eagles beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. You know what happened this season? The Golden State Warriors won the NBA Finals. The Houston Astros won the World Series. I'm just missing that last one.
I love how you don't watch basketball, or you don't care about basketball in the slightest until it helps your football predictions. It makes me so, like, it's just like, hey, listen, I know I don't watch basketball, but this is what's up. We got this.
Nor really do I, like, I pay attention to baseball, but I don't watch it.
Yeah, no.
It only happens when I need my football predictions.
Or the Red Sox are in the...
Yeah,
to the championship.
That is also...
That is the same way I watch baseball.
Okay.
The Rays have a chance to the playoffs, let's start watching them.
Unfortunately, that doesn't happen very often.
No, it happens once every 5 years, it feels like.
All right, we'll end with that. So, now we get to the other section of my lovely list here, which is just a bunch of random bullshit that didn't fit in any of my other categories.
Fair enough. I like these categories.
The Bears may keep the number 1 overall pick.
Why is that?
Draft Will Anderson or somebody that might not be there by the time you trade down.
Okay.
Depending on what you can get, I might be inclined to keep the number 1 overall pick and draft somebody like that. But we shall see. We already talked about Brady. Okay, let me pose a question to you. As a football fan, the way we are football fans, like, I would say that we are larger football fans than most of the population, but we're
definitely
also
not
the
diehards.
biggest.
Yeah, we're a good like
We're a good middle of the
90th
pack
percentile.
above average.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's definitely people who know an astounding amount more than we do,
Yes.
and there's other people who barely know what's going on. Like there's people who watch football and can't tell you like the Eagles quarterback's name.
And there are also people who are like, my team's on, I'll watch that.
Yeah.
These other games, don't care. My team's not making the playoffs? Damn, sounds like my watching football season's
I feel like that's really what gets you above just an average watcher, is watching a game where your team doesn't play or doesn't directly affect them going to the playoffs.
I agree. So, as football fans the way we are there certain players that you can root for regardless of team?
Definitely.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we were on the same. Like,
give me an example.
Give you an example?
Because I have one on my head right now.
Okay. In my example, I am a Patriots fan.
Yeah.
Which means in almost all scenarios, I despise the Miami Dolphins. However, Christian Watkins,
I think.
Watkins. One of those two names. Somewhere along those lines anyway. Christian W. is a defensive tackle for the Dolphins. Absolutely adore that man. What is your example?
I feel like there's two very obvious ones, being Jameis Winston, Dalvin Cook.
Okay.
Except Dalvin Cook's actually good. Like, I think if Dalvin Cook gets on a team that isn't the Vikings, he has a chance of going. Like, he can definitely be a part of a Super Bowl team if he goes to the right team. Like, if you have Dalvin Cook on the Chiefs or the 49ers, that's a bit. Or not the 49ers because CMC's there now.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have, like, Dalvin Cook go to, like, the Chiefs, oh my god, it would be so. That would make me so happy.
You know what is tangentially related but not really related?
What?
Do you know what I would give to see Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Justin Jefferson go to the Bengals?
Just to have that LSU
team
rip apart,
all on the Bengals.
They would win the Super Bowl.
They would 100. Dude, they would win the Super Bowl and the Pro Bowl.
Because it would just be that.
Yeah.
You like when they're in the Pro Bowl?
No.
No, you don't?
No.
I like this whole AFC, NFC flag football. Or the Manning brothers.
I would love to see the Manning brothers just actually coach a Pro Bowl.
Fair enough.
But I don't like the
flag football.
I
get where they're coming from.
I agree, however.
It's not a Pro Bowl. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
I definitely like the fact that the Manning brothers are the ones that are doing it.
Agreed.
That makes me really happy. And once they get to the point, the Kelsey brothers will do it.
Yep.
Is that what you're going to say?
Yes.
And it'll be great. If we can just keep having, like, NFL brothers just run it,
once
it'll make me
the Kelsey brothers are done, the Bosa brothers will do it.
Just keep going. I'm good with this.
Did you see the clip of Joey Bosa when the Niners played Philly?
No.
Oh my! There was this fan outside of there was this Philadelphia fan outside of the stadium, and he was like, "Oh look, it's the Bosa brother that's not playing today.
Oh,
how do those fines feel?" And Joey Bosa turns around and goes, "Good, because I can afford them." I
love that.
You definitely lost that one, but I mean, okay.
You tried. I'm proud.
An effort was made. Speaking of the Pro Bowl, do you know who's now selected to the Pro Bowl? Because Patrick Mahomes is in the Super Bowl.
Who was... Okay, give me the other two people.
I don't know the other two. I know Josh Allen opted out. And Justin Herbert is hurt. Trevor Lawrence is hurt. And Joe Burrow is hurt.
So the AFC's going to lose, right?
I mean, it's also flag football, so...
Yeah, that's fair. Who... I don't even know who they would pick at that point. You just like, hey, here's the 8 best quarterbacks.
You don't know who they picked?
Who?
Tyler Huntley.
Who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Ravens' backup.
Yeah. Okay.
Make that one make sense, Captain. You know who definitely deserved that spot over Tyler Huntley?
Anybody else?
Pretty much.
I mean...
I'm a little biased, but Mac Jones?
Yeah. I feel like...
Definitely deserved that over Tyler Huntley. Matt Ryan would have been nice to see him. Like,
a lot of other people...
At the point that you're at Tyler Huntley, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter who you put in that Pro Bowl, you're going to lose. So it would have been nice to give Matt Ryan a send-off or Ryan Tannehill a send-off.
Just a fun pick at that point. Like, if you like the actual good player's not going to be there, let's get somebody who's just well-seasoned. Like, just have somebody fun in there.
Not Tyler Huntley. And then...
I have a question for you.
I have an answer for you.
Okay. So let's say Tom Brady is a 10 out of 10 quarterback. Where's Mac Jones?
We're going to save this question. I'm going to answer this question, but we're going to save this question and come back after next season.
Okay.
Because he had an amazing rookie season. Like, was on par to be just as good as Brady.
Yeah, he had an above-average rookie season. This season...
Then he got Matt Patricia.
And now Matt Patricia's gone.
And now Matt Patricia is gone. So I want to see what happens after this season.
You think offensive coordination was really what messed him up?
100% this year. Mac Jones, one of Mac Jones' largest strengths is just throwing that deep ball with a hope, a prayer, and some duct tape.
Instead of running a bunch of slants?
What was it? I can't remember what they called it. It was at the game that I went to when I was up in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
He just launches that motherfucker, and it bounces off of Jacoby Meyer's helmet, and Kendrick Bourne grabs that shit and runs it into the end zone.
One of those, just get it down there, somebody's going to get it.
Yeah, that is 100% one of Mac Jones' strengths. Matt Patricia is like, nope, we're going to run slants and screens, and that's it.
Okay, so, follow-up question.
Oh, hold on. Okay. I'm actually going to answer your question. If Brady's a 10 out of 10, I think Mac Jones, on his own, what we've seen, is a 6 to a 7.
Okay, so 6.8?
Sure.
Okay. What's the Patriots' record going to be next year? If you had to take a shot.
Let me look up their schedule.
I'm going to tell you right now, if the Bucs don't have Brady...
Insert Jeopardy music here.
If the Bucs don't have Brady, it's like 4-13. It's going to be bad.
Maybe. I mean, okay, hold on.
I don't think they're making it to the playoffs again.
I agree. Okay. They play the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to call that a win. The Denver Broncos, I have comments on this, so I'm going to save this one. Raiders, win. Dolphins. In Miami, I'm going to call a loss. Buffalo in Gillette, I'm calling a win. Miami in Gillette, I'm calling a win. Wow, they really face just the AFC East for 4 weeks straight. They play Dolphins, Bills, Dolphins, Jets.
There's a lot of AFC East going on.
I'm calling the Jets a win. Chiefs a loss. Are you keeping track? Because I'm not.
2 losses.
2 losses so far?
You have Miami at home and the Chiefs as the losses.
Okay.
And then you said, whatever the second one was, you have comments on.
The Chargers loss. The Eagles win. Giants loss. Jets win. Bills loss.
I assume that's at Bills.
At Orchard Park. Commanders win. Colts win. Saints win. Steelers win.
So 5, and then the second game you had to comment on.
Second game is at the Denver Broncos.
This depends on Russ getting it together.
I don't know if you saw the buzz around the internet, but there is word that Denver is in the final stages of compensation to the Saints for Sean Payton's contract.
Oh.
And if there's one guy who can pull Russ together, it's Sean Payton.
I think Russ was showing a little promise toward the end of the season, too.
Sean Payton is the same guy who took Jameis Winston from throwing more complete passes to the other team than to his team and made him throw less
Halfway
than 10
decent.
interceptions. So if there's one guy who can kick Russ's ass
around.
into gear, it's Sean Payton.
So I am 5 or 6 losses.
5 or 6, depending on how Russ shows up.
So
I will say it's week 2, so I'm leaning more towards 5.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know that Russ is going to be there by week 2.
I got you.
But I'm going to say 5 to 6.
And you think they're going to the Super Bowl? Or, sorry, to the playoffs?
At 11-5, they'll at least get a wild card.
Even if the Bills beat them out?
Yeah. Or, sorry, 12-5.
12-5.
There's 17 games now.
Yeah. 12-5 or 11-6, however that goes.
Yeah. I think they'll at least get a wild card. I think it's going to end up Chiefs 100%, Bengals 100%, Bills most likely, and...
I think it's going to be Bills and Pats. It's just who gets the better pick. Or better seed.
Who's in AFC South? Jags. So those are going to be the 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
I think Pats can pull that out. I think there's a solid chance that either the Broncos or the Chargers pull that out.
I would love to see Russ go again to the Super Bowl.
And then I'm going to say maybe either Dolphins or Ravens as that last seed.
All right.
But I think the Chiefs are the 1 seed, no question.
Again. Back to back.
Yeah. So that was one of the last 2 things on my other tab. The last thing on my other tab is DeMeco Ryan, who was the Niners defensive coordinator, has been named as the Houston Texans head coach.
This is going to be... I think it's going to be fun.
Provided the Texans don't fuck up this year's draft.
Yeah. If they can manage their second pick overall, they'll be fine.
I don't think that they're... I think they can compete for 3rd in the AFC South now.
Yeah.
I don't think they're anywhere close to competing with the Jags. And I certainly don't think they're still a good 5 years out from competing for a Super Bowl.
Oh, 100%.
At least.
I think they could maybe catch a wild card spot if they get in shape.
I don't know about this year. Maybe next year.
I just feel like we had a couple of wild cards that were like what 9 and 8.
Yes.
I feel like they can. With a good
I think
push,
the
they
Bills
can pull it off.
The Bills were 9-8, and the Ravens were 9-8. I want to say
The Bills?
Dolphins.
Okay.
My brain just said, nope. That's it. That's not
other
it.
AFC East team.
Oh, I want the finalists, you asshole. Damn it. Please hold. Okay. The last spot I have under NFL is I want to talk to you about the NFL honors. I want your opinion on who is going to win each major award, I'm going to say. So, if you need the finalists, I will give them to you. If you have an answer off rip.
So,
let's start with MVP.
It's got to be Mahomes.
Okay. I'm glad you said that. If you had said Justin Jefferson, I was probably going to come over there and strangle you.
I like that Justin Jefferson's on the list. I like that we have a non-quarterback on the list.
Agreed.
But
however, I think I told you this earlier. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's on TikTok. He's the guy with long black hair. One of the sports analysts.
Yeah.
He made a list of the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL, and it was Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes on one leg, then Joe Burrow.
Definitely understand that.
After that showing at the AFC Championship, it's Patrick Mahomes as MVP.
Yeah. As much as I feel like it should be anybody else, it's definitely him.
Agreed.
I can't wait for another time, for a time where we don't have to have the MVP have to be a quarterback.
I agree.
It feels exhausting having the quarterback be the best player every
I
time.
feel like they almost should make a quarterback player of the year,
and then
a quarterback of the year, and then
an offensive player of the year.
Pretty
or a
much.
running back, a tight end, a receiver. It feels almost unfair that you have the guy that runs everything be on the same level.
No shit, he's the most valuable player. Unless you're the 49ers, your offense doesn't function without him. All right, next up is Defensive Player of the Year. The finalists are Nick Bosa, Chris Jones, and Micah Parsons.
I want it to be Micah Parsons.
Okay.
I hope it's him.
Okay.
I can see them giving it to Bosa, though.
I think it's going to be Bosa.
Yeah. If it's not Parsons, it's Bosa.
I don't think Chris Jones is going to get it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's going to be Bosa, but I agree with you. I want it to be Micah Parsons.
That guy was elite for quite a while.
Yeah. Offensive Player of the Year. We have Tyreek, Jalen Hurts, Justin Jefferson, and Patrick Mahomes.
If Pat Mahomes wins the MVP...
Yeah.
Say them again.
Tyreek Hill, Jalen Hurts, Justin Jefferson, Patrick Mahomes.
It should be Tyreek Hill, I think.
Really?
But it's going to be Jalen Hurts.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to Justin Jefferson. No.
I think Patrick Mahomes and Justin Jefferson are getting these 2 awards. I think it's going to be Mahomes MVP, Jefferson Offensive Player of the Year. But I could see them switching and giving...
Jefferson the MVP?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Justin Jefferson. I love the Vikings. I just feel like without Tyreek Hill, the Dolphins don't get anywhere. I feel like the Vikings...
I don't think that's true, because we saw them after they lost Tua, and they went to shit in a hurry.
Yeah.
Think about after Tua went out, shit hit the fan. They got into the playoffs barely. They squeaked by on a field goal getting into the playoffs.
That's fair. I just feel like it'd be very... I feel like giving it to a Vikings player kind of blows, because the Vikings overall... I get it's a player award.
Yeah.
But I still feel like it's odd to give it to them.
I think it's going to be Justin Jefferson.
He deserves it, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
Who are your top 3 receivers this year?
Top 3 receivers this year? Jesus. Okay, Tyreek, Justin Jefferson.
Okay, I knew it was going to be those 2. I just want to hear what your third one was. I'm going to be real with you. It's the same here. Those are the 2 best.
Probably A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown?
On the Eagles, yeah.
Okay.
I think he's probably my number 3.
Your 3?
Oh, by the way, if there's any more argument to why Patrick Mahomes is the MVP and the best player in the league right now, the only starter he was throwing to was Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Other than that, you had people that I had never heard their names spoken before. You could have been like, yep, that's a name an AI made up. You could have been like, oh, those are the CPUs drafted in Madden. I would have been like, sounds about right. I had never heard these motherfuckers
I don't even think
before.
it's close about how good he is.
And
you know the worst part? At least when Brady was like kicking asses, taking names, you had Manning there to be like, hey, I'm also here.
Mm-hmm.
And we all thought that was Josh Allen. It's not.
It's definitely Burrow.
It's definitely... It's going to be Burrow, but right now it's not Burrow, I don't think. I think Allen fell off, and Burrow hasn't shown off well enough to truly have that same dichotomy that Manning and Brady had.
I will say, there's definitely a similarity between Mahomes and Brady. Name me one really, really star wide receiver on the Patriots.
That's crazy.
I can think of maybe two.
You're a fan, and you can think of two. I have no idea.
You got Randy Moss.
Yeah.
Who was on the Patriots for 1-2 seasons, 3 maximum.
Not very long.
Not very long. And then you have Julian Edelman, who was a star.
I could have named Edelman if I thought about it.
Because of Brady.
Yeah.
But if you put Julian Edelman on, let's say, the Raiders, he's not going to be nearly as good.
No, you need that quarterback. He's one of those people you need the quarterback.
So, I'm just saying, there's definitely some similarities there where they're throwing a fucking nobodies and still getting the job done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think it was Scantling and Smith-Schuster were his.
Valdez-Scantling was the one who did a lot of the work in the AFC Championship. Smith-Schuster was out.
Yeah.
Kadarius Toney was out. Like, a lot of his starters were just not there, and he was still getting shit done. Okay, Offensive Rookie of the Year is next. You got Brock Purdy.
No.
Kenneth Walker.
Okay.
And Garrett Wilson.
I think Brock Purdy kept going.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to kind of give it to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he went to the Super Bowl and maybe won the Super Bowl, definitely. But I feel like it's unfair to give it to somebody who was only there for half the season.
I agree.
So, what were the other two names?
Kenneth Walker III and Garrett Wilson.
I'll be real with you. Don't know.
I think it's going to be Garrett Wilson.
Why?
He just, even using Mike White and Zach Wilson, he still did a fuckload for the Jets. And when you're doing that much with that little...
So you think the Jets are taking both the rookie awards?
Yep. I'm glad you went there, because Defensive Rookie of the Year is next, and I'll name the other two names, Aiden Hutchinson and Tariq Woolen.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's going to Sauce Gardner.
Valid.
If it doesn't go to Sauce Gardner, then they're just being different.
People are going to riot.
100%. He deserves it. Then you have Comeback Player of the Year.
Okay.
Who is Saquon Barkley,
Okay.
CMC, and Geno Smith.
I feel like it's got to be CMC.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like he was dominant. Like, toward the end, I mean. I feel like he started really pulling it together.
I agree. However...
Who do you think it should be?
Geno Smith.
Really?
This man... There's a clip of him out there saying, yeah, they wrote me off, but I didn't write back. This motherfucker did not write back.
That's a good line.
He 100% deserves Comeback Player of the Year. He was a backup to a backup to a backup for half of his career. And every goddamn sports analyst on the planet, whether they will tell you or not, had the Seahawks being like 2-16 this year, 2-15 this year. Math isn't my strong suit.
I know. I also was like tripping thinking it was 18 games, forgetting about bye weeks, just because that's how my brain works.
Everybody and their brother had the Seahawks being 2-15 this year, not going to the playoffs.
They did promptly lose. Don't get me wrong. Like,
they also faced the Niners.
Yeah.
So I think he deserves Comeback Player of the Year. But I could see CMC. I don't think Saquon Barkley's getting it.
No, he was not on my list.
But I could see maybe CMC. I think it should be Geno. And then Coach of the Year is the last one I want to talk about.
The options are
Brian Dable, New York Giants. Sean McDermott, Buffalo Bills. Doug Peterson, Jacksonville Jaguars. Kyle Shanahan, 49ers. And Nick Sirianni, Philadelphia Eagles.
Andy Reid's on the list? Huh. I mean... I'm gonna say, because they're going to the Super Bowl, the Eagles head coach.
Really?
Yeah.
He ain't even in my top 3, bud.
Really?
Yep.
I feel like when you're this good for the like, there was barely a point where they weren't like, hey, they're number one. It wasn't until like the last 3 or 4 weeks up to the playoffs that they weren't just like the given number one.
Okay. He's not even in my top 3.
That's valid. Is the 49ers head coach up there?
Yes.
He was my second.
Okay. Number 1 to me is Doug Peterson.
Okay.
There might be one, but I think there has not been, that since the merger, I don't believe a team has gone from number 1 in the draft to winning their division.
Since the merger?
Yeah. And the Jags did it this year.
They did.
So, he's my number 1. There might be one or two.
That feels like a comeback player of the year.
There might be 1 or 2, but I'm shaky on it, but there's not a lot if there's any.
It's not a common occurrence.
Yeah. Brian Dable is my number 2, the Giants head coach, because he took a team that should not have been in the playoffs by any means necessary.
And then brought them to the playoffs.
And then won a playoff game.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what the fuck was going down there, but...
People were really sleeping on the Giants all year. Which is wild.
Agreed. Next year's Giants are going to beat the Lions.
Are going to be the Lions? What do you mean by that?
Like, what happened to the Giants this year is going to happen to the Lions next year.
I want the Lions to go the distance so bad. I feel like they've been struggling for 3 or 4... Because a few years, like 5, 6 years ago, they were like the worst team. Like, they were like the comedic... like
they were, I believe, the first team to go 0-16.
Yeah, they were just like the comedic, like, hey, this is the worst team.
Yeah.
And for the past 2 or 3 years, they've been like on the fringe. They've been getting consistently better. I think in large part due to Amon-Ra.
Yeah, I'd say Amon-Ra was right. Also, the Jared Goff Matthew Stafford trade kind of helped him.
Oddly enough, it's so weird. Like
Jared Goff isn't half bad on the Lions. But anyways, my number 3 is Kyle Shanahan, because if you're on your 3rd string rookie QB and he's going undefeated,
chances are
you maybe deserve something.
You might be getting some of the credit.
Yeah. So I feel like he deserves at least a nod in my top 3.
Valid.
I have one more thing I was going to say. Oh, does it seem weird to you that all of a sudden the Bears were the worst team in the league this year?
It felt like it almost fell out of the sky.
Right? It wasn't until like week 16, week 17 that I was like, oh damn, the Bears only won like 3 games.
Yeah, it felt like almost like...
It was
I would hear analysts speak, and they'd be like, oh yeah, the Bears got this game. And they never did. They never had the game.
And I didn't pay attention to the final scores of any of their games, so it was like, it was a foregone conclusion in my mind since like week 5 that the Texans were getting the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like, nope.
Oh yeah, by the way, it's now the Bears. Since when? When did this happen?
What? But I just had to bring that up.
I agree. It felt like it was just like out of nowhere. It surprised us.
Okay. Let's go to college football real quick because there are a couple of things here.
Lovely. My favorite kind of football.
That's an upsetting sentence.
Are we going to watch the USFL?
Either that or the XFL or the CFL.
I just want to watch football.
I don't give a shit. You choose. Or all 3. Fuck it.
Football.
Number 1 there are 2 things here. Number 1, Georgia.
Okay.
Do you think they're going to 3-peat?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. That's all I needed from that.
I can't. And if they do, I'm going to be really, really upset about it.
I agree with you. I just needed the sentence.
You're never going to hear me say this ever again. Ever again. I would rather have Alabama win the national championship.
I might hate you for saying that.
Than Georgia have a 3-peat.
I might hate you for saying that.
Rightfully so. But still, that's how adamantly... Georgia's getting to that Alabama level of, like, constantly winning that's bothersome. And I just need... I need them not to be there 1 year. I need a palate cleanser. This feels like it's getting out of hand.
Okay. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
And I think next year is our last year to get that for a long time. Because not next year, the year after, it's the 12 teams. And there's no way those 2 teams are not going to be top 12 for at least another decade and a half.
Okay.
So I think next year is our final chance to not get them.
And then the second thing I have here under Georgia, Do you think they could beat the Houston Texans or the Chicago Bears? Either one.
Oh, could the best college team beat the worst NFL team?
You can choose Texans or Bears because, as we just discussed, the Bears kind of fell out of the fucking sky.
I'm going to be real with you. I still think it's the Texans is the worst team.
I agree. I think the Bears could easily beat Georgia.
The Texans, on the other hand.
I think Georgia wins.
You think Georgia wins?
I think Georgia wins.
Okay. I disagree.
Okay.
I think it's a whole... I think you've been adamant about this before, that it's a whole different game, you know?
I have been adamant about it before, but it depends on what rules you're playing with.
I guess it does. Do you think if it depends on what rules you're playing with, depends who wins?
Yeah.
Disagree. I think if you put NFL players with college football rules, they're going to steamroll whoever they're playing.
I disagree vehemently.
Really?
Yeah.
You think if it's 2 feet instead of 1, they're not just going to immediately be better?
Yeah.
Or
one foot instead of 2.
You know what I meant.
I don't even think that's going to be the biggest problem for them.
The ball size?
Yep. That's what's going to fuck over
So if
NFL teams.
College goes to NFL, you think it's going to be the same thing?
I think it's going to be less pronounced, but yes, I believe it's going to be the same thing. I think Georgia has a better chance of winning under NFL rules than the Texans do under college football rules.
I feel like you're just wrong. I'm going to be real with you. I feel like we've seen most of the players on the Texans played in college.
Yeah.
So I feel like they would at least
Were
have...
any of them that good?
I mean, fair enough. That's a decent
Damian
point.
Pierce was a steal for them, but...
I feel like it's just another level. Here's my
Mm-hmm.
pass to that.
Mm-hmm.
Is Stetson Bennett.
Okay.
He is old enough. I feel like
To where he's basically an NFL quarterback?
Precisely.
Him and Lamar Jackson were at the point that I saw the statistic the same age, but I'm pretty sure Stetson Bennett had his birthday right before the national championship.
Precisely what I'm saying is Stetson Bennett is old enough where he has the experience and maturity of what would be an NFL quarterback.
Did you hear that there's apparently a tight end that could be a 9-year senior?
What are we doing? Did he go to college when he was 15?
He redshirted his freshman year.
Okay.
Got injured.
Okay.
Came back, got injured.
Oh, God.
Came back, got injured.
Don't play football.
So, and then the COVID year.
So you get another free pass for a year or two.
So he's got redshirted, medical redshirt, COVID year. Still has 4 years left.
How old is he?
I don't remember. I just saw the thing that was he could become the first 9th-year senior.
Well, hold on.
If he plays all the way through.
If it was 2020 with his 4th year? 5th year?
I don't remember
I'm just trying to math my way backward. He was born in roughly 97.
Sure.
That's the math.
I'm not going to try to do that. We already listened to me try to do game math today.
Which means he would be 27?
Sure.
That's
I'm just going to believe you.
Wild, roughly. Assuming he went to college when he was 18 and COVID was his 5th year, 2020.
You can try to explain the math.
Backward math,
I can just...
97, he was born in 97. He's going to be almost 30 at this point.
That's wild.
So no, I don't
He's transferring to Miami this year, I believe, and then wants to go somewhere else for his final year.
I think you should get... I feel like 9 years shouldn't even be allowed. I feel like justifiably 8 years.
He has his bachelor's and master's degree in the time that he's been in college.
Is he working on his doctorate?
I don't know.
I feel like as long as you're working on your schooling, it's fine.
I mean,
that's kind of that's the qualification.
He's definitely been in college. The thing that I read said he has his bachelor's and his master's in the time that he's been playing football. So
I can get behind that. I can.
But
my issue is these people oh yeah, I'm playing 6 years, and they're like, okay, have you got your bachelor's degree? No. It's what have you even doing?
And then we're gonna pause here for a second because I have to have you read through something real quick.
Okay.
Okay, he has now read that the ACC is doing away with
standard college football.
With divisions in the coming season. So they will play 10 conference games, 5 home, and 5 away. And I'm sorry, it looks like it's not the same 5.
No, it's just 5 home, 5 away.
I believe so. That's what it looks like here.
Are there any repeats?
In Florida State schedule, they open with LSU.
Okay.
Then
That
play
is not in conference.
Southern Miss.
I don't know if that is.
It doesn't look like it. At least not from the logos I'm seeing. Boston College, which is.
That is.
Clemson, which
That
is. Then they have bye week.
Okay.
Then they have Virginia Tech, which is. Syracuse, which is. Duke, which is.
Yeah.
Wake Forest, which is.
NC State, UNC.
Pitt, which is. Miami, which is. North Alabama, which is not. And Florida.
Florida State plays North Alabama?
Yeah. It's in Tallahassee. Tallahassee.
Doak Campbell. I might have to go to that game.
I think we both might have to. Yeah. They play at Doak Campbell. So, anyways, so you have Boston College, Clemson, VTech, Syracuse, Duke, Wake Forest, Pitt, Miami. So 8. At least on Florida State's schedule. I think they might be counting the rivalry game as one of those.
Not a part of it.
I think they're counting it as one of the 10 because for most of those teams, their rivalry game is in conference. It just happens to be that Florida State's in Florida.
Florida isn't. That makes sense. Okay. I just want to make sure that it wasn't going to make it. I didn't want this to mess up too much. That's all. Because Florida State almost every year plays LSU.
Okay.
Very common. And they beat them last year.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, I'm okay with this because... Okay, I was expecting to get really upset with it.
Uh-huh.
But looking at it, it seems almost normal.
Let me see if I can find the only other team I give a fuck about in the ACC.
That would be...
Virginia Tech.
Oh.
They play Old Dominion, which is not. Purdue, which is not. Rutgers, which is not. Marshall, which is not. Pitt, which is. Florida State, which is. Wake Forest, which is. They have a bye week. Syracuse, which is. Louisville, which is. Boston College, which is. NC State, which is. And Virginia, which is.
It sounds like you get all of your non-conference games first few weeks, and then just...
Unless you're Florida State, apparently.
The first two are it's LSU or
Southern Miss,
and then
then they come down. And
UNA a little further in,
and Florida. But
I'm not counting the rivalry game.
And apparently, no, it's just 8 because Virginia is their rivalry game, and that's just one of the 8. So it looks like you get 8 in conference games, but no divisions. So they're just going to have the top 2 teams play for the ACC title.
That makes me feel really good because I'm going to be real with you. When you listed off those teams, I see them losing to maybe 3 teams.
Which are?
LSU. Because I'm going to be honest with you. We got lucky that we played LSU at the beginning last year because if we played LSU at the end of the season last year, it would have been terrible.
Okay. Florida because anything can happen.
And Miami because anything can happen.
Okay.
And maybe Clemson. Maybe. But the ACC is not a good conference. As of, now.
I would love to see them lose to VTech because you would never hear the end of it.
Oh, I'm aware. Or Boston College.
Boston College, not as much because I don't actually give a flying fuck about. But my 2 teams are Florida and Virginia Tech.
Okay.
If they lose to both in the same year, you would never live it down.
If they lost to Florida and Virginia Tech in the same year, I'm gonna lose it. Okay.
That would just be my year. But yeah, I figured you would care more about this than I would because while I like Virginia Tech, they're nowhere close to keep the. If they're a top 2 team, something fucky's happening. Someone made a deal with the devil. They're nowhere close to being.
Well, I definitely think
on the skirts. Florida State. If this had happened last year, Florida State and Clemson would have played for the ACC title.
100%. UNC. Sadly, that can't happen because of the way they're on the same. They're both East or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I hate that.
Well, now that's not a problem.
Just to be clear, that whole Eastern Conference, Western Conference is so annoying.
Especially when you're the Atlantic Coast Conference, all of your teams are in the East.
Yeah.
It's like the Pac-12. All of your teams are in the West. When your conferences are like that, you should have North and South if you're going to have divisions. Like, in the Big 12 and the Big 10, it makes sense with their East and West, because their conferences are a sideways rectangle, not a vertical rectangle.
Also, I feel like it's
The
just...
SEC, we're not going to talk about, because that's its whole fucking shit show.
The SEC is just an issue in general. I don't like the... I don't know. I
don't like divisions, but...
Agree.
It is what it is. Divisions make sense in football, in NFL football.
I know you meant.
Division makes sense in the NFL, where the teams are... Like, all of those teams play one another.
Yeah.
There are too many teams in FBS college football
It's
for that
so
to
many.
work.
It's, like, the fact you have 32 teams broken up into 2 conferences with 4
divisions.
It,
With 4
it just
teams.
mathematically breaks down beautifully. But there's so many teams in college football that it's just like, if we want everybody to play like everybody at some point,
You need to have a year-round season.
yeah. But
Don't get me wrong. I'd
I'm
be
okay
okay
with
with it.
However, but we don't have that, and we also, I feel like keeping it to where you play the same 10 teams and then here's 3 more
Yeah.
every year, we're just gonna have an issue where we're gonna have this thing where it's like, well, these 2 teams never play each other, so we don't know who's better.
Yeah.
And I hate that. Like, I think it was either last year or the year before. Very recently, Florida State played Alabama, which doesn't happen often. But the fact that it happens is just cool. I like these, like, hey, Alabama's going to play Ohio State.
The one thing, if we have a year-round season, I love the rivalry games, especially where it's like you and me, where I'm a Florida fan and you're a Florida State fan. The rivalry game will never not be fun.
And the thing about the rivalry game is, it can always go the other way.
Yeah. But I just had to bring that to your attention because I saw it and had to throw it out there.
Yeah.
This
Makes me feel very confident about FSU definitely going the distance.
I don't know that they'll go the distance.
As in, get to the playoffs.
They'll get the ACC championship.
And I think it'll push it into
probably
the
the playoffs.
If they beat LSU
Uh-huh.
and then do well throughout the rest of their season like they should do,
Yeah.
they've got it.
How many games are in a college football season?
12,
12, 13?
14, something like that. It always throws me off because they do it where it's like, it's 12. It's definitely 12, by the way.
It's 12.
Because you need 6 and 6 to go to a bowl game.
Okay.
Just that's how my brain remembers it. But then if you go to the bowl game, it's 13 for you, and then your record's out of 13. And then if you keep going, they keep adding to your record.
I'm going to say that Florida State goes to the ACC championship, and that's where the season ends. So 13 games. They're going 11-2.
I can see that.
Not the 2 teams that I have beating them, but that's okay.
I would have LSU and either Clemson or Florida.
Yeah, I have Florida and Virginia Tech, just to give you shit.
You think they're going to beat LSU, like a top 5 team,
Yeah.
and then lose to Florida and Virginia Tech?
Yeah, why?
Listen, if they beat Virginia Tech, okay, this is my claim right now.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how it's going. If you and I are both, if I'm in a financially stable enough position,
Yeah.
if Virginia Tech beats Florida State, and we can both go, I will pay for tickets for the Florida State game, and we will go. If Virginia,
Florida's in Gainesville, Virginia Tech is in
Docambo,
Tallahassee.
good luck. If Virginia State beats Florida State, I will pay for tickets to go to.
Is Florida in Gainesville, or do they have a neutral site for that game?
It's Gainesville.
Okay. I didn't know if it was like the world's largest outdoor cocktail party where,
No,
for whatever reason, it's in the fucking Jag Stadium.
No, it's always it alternates
Between the 2.
Docambo
Okay.
and the Swamp.
Just thought I'd make sure. It said at Florida, but it occurred to me that could be like, yeah,
Some
it's
other
at
stadium.
Florida because Florida's the whole home
No,
team,
they do it at the Swamp.
but- okay. Do you want to go games or movies next?
Let's go movies.
Movies. All right, we got one thing that I'm going to say for last. Have you watched the trailer for Knock at the Cabin?
The Dave Bautista movie?
Yes.
Yes.
It actually looks really good.
It does look really good. I was gonna listen. I'm always super concerned with A, apocalypse movies, and B, movies where a wrestler is the main character.
Mm-hmm.
Those always because apocalypse movies have this thing where it's like, hey, this is gonna be a shitty apocalypse movie where things are gonna go wrong, and people, you're just watching this movie to watch a bunch of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have this thing where it's like, hey, you have a wrestler as the main character. This could be terrible.
However,
I think Batista is a great actor.
Batista is a great actor. And I am so happy for him that he gets to broaden his acting capabilities because, and this will lead me into Guardians 3, there has been, I believe it was in his Tattoo tour with GQ, that Batista came out and said that he didn't want to be like Robert Downey Jr. or Chris Hemsworth, where
he is.
That's the guy that played Drax.
Yeah.
He wants to be Dave Batista. He wants to be like The Rock. Oh, that's The Rock.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be the guy who played that character. He wants to be, that's that actor.
Yeah. He wants to be Batista, not...
So, I'm very happy for him that he gets to do this. He gets to do Knives Out. He gets to do stuff that broadens his capabilities.
I liked him in Knives Out, too. He played that character well.
Dave Batista is a really good segue to two other things on this list. So, Guardians 3 or Knives Out 3? Which one do you want to go first?
We'll go Guardians 3, because I'm actually more excited about Knives Out 3.
Okay, Guardians 3. Number 1. There is massive rumor mill that they are going to kill a character in Guardians 3.
I have a guess. Drax.
That's a really good guess, because Dave Batista doesn't want to do Guardians
Drax
anymore. If
However,
it's only one, it's Drax. If it's two, they kill Rocket.
Yeah, 100% was my second guess.
Okay, just making sure we're on the same page there.
Here, those two characters, I actually think it's kill off Rocket, and Drax finds a family he loves and just gets the family he couldn't have.
I would love that.
And then Drax fucks off. Because
I would love that.
He's just happy.
It also, if Dave Batista gets old and gray and is like, fuck it, I'll come back for another movie, it leaves the door open that Drax
where
can
like
come
he's
back.
still alive and he can still do things. Also, Gamora's in this movie, right?
We don't know.
She's in the trailers, right?
I believe so.
Okay.
But that
could be flashbacks.
Okay. In Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Zoe Kravitz is credited as Lita Lestrange. You know why she's credited as Lita Lestrange? She's in a fucking picture.
Is it at least a moving picture?
No, I don't believe so.
It's not even a wizarding picture?
I'm pretty sure it's just in a newspaper in Newt's trunk. But, regardless, so, yeah, maybe?
Kinda? Maybe?
She's there, but how much, we don't know. Number 2, in an interview with James Gunn, he's dropped hints that Adam Warlock isn't necessarily a good guy.
Oh.
At least not to start the movie.
Okay.
So I'm thinking...
do you think this would be like a Martian Manhunter situation?
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Okay.
The Guardians show up...
To X-Planet?
Especially without Gamora. Peter is going to be I'm going to shoot you in the fucking head and then start asking you questions.
Okay.
So, I'm thinking that maybe they show up, maybe him and Adam Warlock start roughing it up. Basically, they both fuck off because neither one of them can beat each other.
Yeah.
And then they find Gamora. Gamora is that bridge, and it shows Peter that, like, he needs Gamora to be the best he can be.
Okay.
That would be my dream Guardians 3. I don't know how feasible that is, but...
Alright. So this question just popped up in my brain.
Okay. Hit me.
Who's your favorite actor in a Marvel movie that's only in one Marvel movie?
That's only in one Marvel movie?
Yes. So if they're in multiple, if they ever make a second appearance, doesn't count.
Okay. I'm going to start listing names just so I can get some names out there in my brain. Terrence Howard.
As?
Rhodey. The first
That
Rhodey.
was an offbeat... No, I know what you're saying. Offbeat pick, but I can respect it.
Okay. So that's Iron Man. Oh, I know 100% who my pick would be.
Edward Norton?
No, but he just showed up in another movie. My pick would 100% be the guy who plays the Mandarin if he wasn't in Shang-Chi.
That's a great pick, actually.
But he's in Shang-Chi now, so he's technically in
Slid out from underneath you.
Rough.
I also don't mean, like, you can't pick Shang-Chi, because he's clearly going to make another appearance. I mean, like, they only had one appearance in the movie.
I gotcha. Aaron Taylor Johnson is up there.
Okay.
But I like Aaron Taylor Johnson more as an actor than I do Quicksilver, if that makes sense. Like,
that's fair.
I like Aaron Taylor Johnson's other stuff. I think he was actually kind of shit as a Quicksilver. But I think that's also just how the movie decided to use him.
You mean how he dies in the end?
Yeah, pretty much.
With no character development?
Yeah, pretty much. The one thing I'll say is bet you didn't see that coming.
It's a great line.
A lovely
He delivers
line.
it really well, too.
A lovely line. Who else do we got? The first guy who plays... Okay. Thor's Band of Merry Misfits.
Yeah.
The blonde fuck changes actors between Thor and Thor 2.
Do you know how little those characters matter? I didn't know that.
I really like the guy who plays him in the first Thor.
like knockoff Legolas?
Yeah.
Okay.
What? So I know he changes in between Thor and Thor 2. Okay, I have a pick for actor and I have a pick for character.
Okay.
My pick for actor is Terrence Howard
As Rhodey?
as Rhodey.
Okay.
My pick for character
Do
is
you
the
know who plays
Red
Rhodey
Skull.
after?
Don Cheadle.
Okay. Because there was one time we were talking about this and you couldn't remember Don Cheadle's name. I was going to be like, if it's so funny you remember Terrence Howard but not Don Cheadle.
No, because when we were talking about that before, all I could think of was his name in Ocean's 11.
The British?
Yes.
Yeah.
And my pick for character is the Red Skull.
Okay.
Because he changes
Okay.
mocap actors.
I'll allow it.
He changes mocap actors.
I also
when
love
he
how
comes back
every
in
one of your
Infinity
picks
War.
was the actor changed and not they only made one appearance.
It's not true. I
like-
put Quicksilver in there.
My mind was like Kurt Russell as Ego. Or, what's his name? The guy that plays Ultron. I don't know his name. He plays the menacing villain, or like the omnipotent like villain.
I have
really
no
well.
idea what his name is.
You know
I
what
can
I'm
name
talking
you maybe one voice actor in the entirety of Marvel.
about? Josh Brolin?
I can name you 2 voice actors in the entirety of Marvel, and one of them doesn't count anymore. Paul
Bradley
Bettany.
Cooper? Oh.
Paul Bettany.
Oh. True.
Vin Diesel is Groot.
Bradley Cooper is Rocket.
Anyways,
Anyway.
that's not true. I had Aaron Taylor Johnson
True.
in there.
But I love Kurt Russell. Just mainly from Tombstone. Just
Yeah.
amazing. So, and he also plays Santa.
Uh-uh.
I love Kurt Russell, and getting to see him in a Marvel movie just made my day. Sadly, it was Guardians 2, which it was good. It's not like my favorite.
Guardians 1 is better than Guardians 2.
I agree.
Okay.
Guardians 2, it was good, and the whole Yondu scene's amazing. But the fact that it has Kurt Russell in it makes that movie 10 times better for me.
Okay.
And what is his name? It's gonna bother me. The guy that plays Ultron, because he's a great.
I don't know.
I know.
Asshole.
No, I know you don't know. I'm just saying that guy as like Ultron. Ultron is a great one-time character.
Ross Marquand.
No, voice actor.
Oh, this is in What If. James Spader.
That's it. James Spader.
Apparently
that guy,
Ross, whatever I just said, voices him in the What If series.
So James Spader. Have you ever heard of the show called The Blacklist?
I've heard of it.
He's the main character in The Blacklist.
Like the fat guy?
I wouldn't say he's fat.
Okay, the large guy?
He's bald.
Yes.
Okay, I think you're tripping because he's definitely not like fat.
Maybe it's like the coat that he wears
It's
on the
100%
cover of
the
the
coat he
Blacklist. But he looks like decently large.
He's really not. He's just
Okay.
like old guy, kind of out of shape.
Okay.
But he plays that character so well, and he just plays that kind of character really well. So I love his performance, and his voice acting is amazing. But yeah,
I really like Paul Bettany. Anyways.
I also really like Paul Bettany.
He's also in the Da Vinci Code.
He is in the Da Vinci Code as the guy who flails himself, whatever you call that thing.
The guy who does a lot of shit.
He does do a lot.
He's like the main, not main villain.
Yeah, that's a great way to put that, actually.
And then we have Knives Out 3. There was, I don't know if it was an interview or an article or what, but it was something with the director of Knives Out. With the director of Knives Out, whose name escapes me, that Knives Out 3 will once again have Daniel Craig, and that's it. So apparently Knives Out is going to continue to be like an anthology series.
With and just Daniel
With
Craig's
Daniel
the
Craig.
only person.
Yeah.
So I saw this thing where somebody was like, listen, Knives Out 3 is Daniel Craig and Muppets. How beautiful would
That would be hilarious.
So it's like just a bunch of puppets walking around, and Daniel Craig in his southern accent's just like, well, we gotta figure out who killed Gonzo. And like, I would love that.
And the
so
director of
much.
Knives Out is so into Knives Out. It's like James Gunn with DC levels of into it. He made the contract deal with Netflix to do Knives Out 2. And in his contract, it was like, you can do whatever. You have to make like 4 or 5 more movies for us. You can do whatever you want.
That
for
makes
those
me
movies.
so happy. The fact
And-
that you give this guy who cares about it just free reign is gonna make
it wasn't even
so
that.
good.
It was you can do whatever movies you want, and this guy was like, "Yeah, I can do whatever I want. I'm going into Knives Out 3. We're so ready
Let's
for
go
this.
already.
Knives Out 2 is out. Let's do this."
Let's start it up. And I just love. I still haven't seen Knives Out 1. Like I know it's about like a within family thing.
I would love Jamie Lee Curtis to make an appearance again because I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but
I also love that Daniel Craig is in my mind, he is no longer James Bond anymore. I know that's a harsh statement to make right now. James Bond, first of all, the only James Bond movie that I can say I've seen fully is Casino Royale,
okay.
which is a good movie.
Okay. You haven't seen 007?
No.
Okay.
But I just enjoy him playing this detective so much more than James Bond that my brain's already switched over.
Okay. What, in your mind, I want you to give me 3 actors who are inseparable from their roles. Like, when you think of them, you don't even, within like 5 seconds, think of another role they've been in.
So, there are 2 people that should hit this, but don't barely. Robert Downey Jr., if he didn't play Sherlock Holmes, he would be Iron Man, period.
That wasn't even the second one for me.
Really? Was it Due Date?
No.
What is it? Oh, Tropic Thunder?
Nope.
What other movie is he in that makes you just...
The Judge.
What?
His father's a judge and hit
This
someone.
was young Robert Downey Jr., I assume?
It was before Iron Man, but he wasn't young.
Okay.
Actually, maybe it wasn't before Iron Man. It was right around that late 2000s, early 2010s.
Okay, I got a little upset there. Got a little heated.
Anyways.
This is another one where it scratches by. Is Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
That's 100% one for me. The closest it comes is The Greatest Showman.
Les Mis. Don't ask me why. It just is.
I'm not going to ask you why just because of my Judge pick, but number 2 for me is 100%
The Greatest Showman. That's valid. I'm glad they were both musicals.
It's because I listen to A Million Dreams like every day. So
Fair enough.
I have both the Pink version and the soundtrack version on my playlist. I hear his voice singing.
Is Heath Ledger also on your list?
Yes.
So, do you want to hear why he's not on my list?
Why?
This is a very just like deep cut childhood thing. You ever see A Knight's Tale?
No.
Okay. So, A Knight's Tale is this Knight's Tale, right? And Heath Ledger is the main character.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, by all critics, fucking sucked. But damn it, I loved this movie so much that I knew Heath Ledger as this random ass knight before I knew him as the Joker.
Heath Ledger is...
Guess who also is in that movie?
Who?
Paul Bettany. And he plays a drunken, naked, dirty fuck. You would love this movie, by the way.
Paul Bettany has a thing for being naked in his movies.
Sure. You would love this movie.
That, The Da Vinci Code, and... I mean, technically Vision is naked.
At all times.
So...
Well, not all times, but a lot.
But anyways...
But if I had to pick one person that was just inseparable...
Oh, if I have to pick one? Okay, I have my one. And it's neither of the 2 you've mentioned.
Okay.
My one is tainted by my father, but for me, my one is...
Oh, it's Snape?
Yeah,
Alan Rickman.
Rickman.
That makes sense.
Because of my father, I happen to know that he's Hans Gruber in Die Hard, but without my father, he would be inseparable from Snape.
Okay.
Even with my father, he's still...
It's still really hard to keep him from just being Snape.
Yeah, it's... Oh, look, it's Snape, but in a skyscraper blowing shit up.
Exactly. Why is Snape being a terrorist right now? What's going on? Where's Harry? If... Kurt Russell really is Wyatt Earp for me. Which is... a solid pick. I don't know. I just feel like every time I have an actor that's just perfect... There's always this throwaway movie that I've also seen them in.
Mm-hmm. The biggest one for me depends on the day.
Okay.
Depending on the day, you ask me who Harrison Ford is, it's
Han
a straight
Solo or
50-50
Indiana
chance
Jones?
whether I say Han Solo or Indiana Jones.
Valid.
He's also in Blade Runner.
I always forget he's in Blade Runner. Because he's also Han Solo and Indiana Jones.
I mean, he's got a hard-on for Lucasfilms. It's alright.
I'm trying to think of somebody. Here's the hard part about this.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I think of somebody, it's like, okay, what else have they done? Like, I'm like, Scarlett Johansson. What other movie is she in? She's her. She's
Alita, Battle Angel.
okay. I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that. Pick any other movie she's in. Pick any other thing she's in, period. How about that?
No.
I'm not gonna justify that statement. How about Lucy?
Sure.
Okay.
I really hope she's in Alita, Battle Angel.
She isn't.
Okay.
I'm gonna say this one as my pick because
Okay.
since 2008, this was my pick up until. Okay, you're having an aneurysm.
She's not in Alita, Battle Angel, but Mahershala
You got this.
Blade,
Mahershala Ali.
that one. Blade is in Alita, Battle Angel.
I did not know that.
Me neither.
So, I'm gonna say this one, and I'm gonna use this as my pick because up until this year it changed. Up until like a month ago,
Okay.
it was Christian Bale as Batman, which is a wild pick, I know. And the only reason it changed because I watched American Psycho like last month.
That's why it changed?
Yeah.
Not Gore?
Oh yeah. I watched both those in the same month.
Okay.
Strange enough.
I was going to say, that's where I thought you were going. You were like, Thor Love and Thunder came out. Now he's
No.
Gore, too.
American Psycho.
Willem Dafoe fell into that for me
Yeah.
until... I mean, I guess he still does, but there's something different between Spider-Man and No Way Home.
He's Green Goblin.
He's Green Goblin, but it's just... Robert Pattinson surprisingly didn't fall into that for me.
Yeah.
He is I see this question on like TikTok. He is a lot of people's picks because he's just Edward,
Yes.
Jacob,
Edward.
one of those two.
He's Edward.
Edward from Twilight.
Jacob is Shark Boy.
That's correct.
It is correct. So what about actors that you just can't stick into a role? Like when you think this person, there's like it's just all over the place.
Okay.
This is a much more open-ended. Like you have a lot of picks here.
I'm gonna give you 5.
Okay.
Just because. Robert Pattinson,
All right.
because he is now Batman,
And
Edward, and Cedric.
He is Cedric.
Uh-huh.
I always forget that because he dies.
Yes he does.
Yes, he does.
He is the spare, and he does get killed. Hey, by the way, remember how we were talking about how we don't talk about Harry Potter? Check that one off.
Yeah. We got our Harry Potter in there.
Number 2, I would say Leonardo DiCaprio.
That's one of mine.
Number 3, some of these are tough. Chris Evans.
Wow, that's a wild pick. I
Really?
definitely thought that was almost in the other category, if
Yeah.
not for like a Knives Out and Fantastic Four.
That's the one. He is so split between the Human Torch and Captain America in my mind that it's just like, I don't know which box to put him in.
It is definitely a good thing that I watched Fantastic Four before I watched Captain America, or it would definitely be that situation.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna put this out there. I don't know. The guy from Fan Four Stick, Mr. Fantastic, is not the guy from Ready Player One, correct?
I didn't watch Fan Four Stick.
Please hold. We got some.
That would be
research to
a
do.
wild pull if you said that. Anywho, so the only one I've agreed with so far is Leo, by the way.
Wild.
Only because that man has been... Okay.
You know who plays Reed Richards in Fan Four Stick?
Who?
I look like a giant idiot on the internet right
Who?
now. Miles Teller.
Is it really?
Yes.
Well, throw Miles Teller on that list.
Michael B. Jordan is definitely on this list.
That's a valid pick. Michael B. Jordan is Killmonger and Creed in my mind.
And the Human Torch and the guy from...
Fahrenheit 451?
No.
Don't ask me why that's on my brain.
It's another courtroom drama, and I can't think of what the name of the movie is.
Oh, he's the
He
lawyer.
helps the guy on death row.
Oh. That's on my list. That's like
I love that movie.
Up on my list. What is that movie called? You dick.
I'll Google it.
I'll Google it.
Michael B. Jordan
Court drama.
court movie.
So,
Just Mercy.
sure.
Yeah, with Jamie Foxx and Brie Larson. Brie Larson's in that movie? Cool.
Jamie Foxx also almost makes my list for I don't know what he plays.
My last one's Keanu Reeves.
Valid. That's a valid pick. Okay. Leo's on my list.
When I say Keanu Reeves, what's the first character that comes to mind?
John Wick.
Understandable for you.
Yeah. Is it Bill?
Yeah.
Or Bill? Is he Bill?
Yes.
That's one of those where it's like they're Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
One of them is one of them.
Keanu Reeves is one of them, and Strange Things are afoot at the Circle K. So
Constantine.
He is Constantine. Okay. Good job.
Yeah, I need to watch that movie. So, really quick, because you brought up Constantine, that's a comic book movie.
Yes.
Right?
Hellblazer?
I have zero clue.
Something
so
like that.
CinemaSins, the YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
they have a podcast, and I used to listen to their podcast pretty regularly. They did this thing where it was a tournament of the best comic book movies of all time.
That's our homework.
They did like from 64 down to 1. And it ended up being like The Dark Knight wins.
Valid.
Completely valid. Especially because it came out like 4 or 5 years ago. Like this was like, there's a lot more competition.
I have a theory on The Dark Knight, but continue.
Anyway. And it was like Dark Knight 1, Constantine 2, Road to Perdition 3. Because Road to Perdition's apparently a comic book movie that I didn't know about. And like Spider-Man 2 was the 4th pick.
There are a lot of movies that are like
book?
Star Wars is a comic book movie.
It's not.
No, it's not.
Road to Perdition and Constantine are.
Yes.
That's what's crazy to me. Hellboy also is amazing.
I think we should make a combined list at some point
Okay.
of whatever we want to do, and then that'll be our homework for next week.
Okay.
So look forward to that.
But for my actors that I just can't place,
Yes.
Leo's definitely up there.
And then remind me that I have something to say on The Dark Knight.
Okay. Morgan Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Jackson.
Sam
Or is he
Jackson.
Nick Fury.
Yeah.
He's Nick Fury.
The only other thing that comes close is like...
Pulp Fiction.
Nope.
Okay.
The guy from The Other Guys at the beginning of The Other Guys.
Oh my god, his 5-minute clip
Yeah.
before he dies.
I love that. When I pick up the phone with my friend, my name in my friend's phone is 91 holy shit. So when I pick up the phone, I go, did somebody call 91 holy shit?
No, between Tarantino movies and him being Nick Fury, he's just not a person.
Understandable. I just... Nick Fury always over... Like, if I see a picture of him, I'm like, oh, it's Nick Fury. Maybe that's Mace Windu if he's in Mace Windu's outfit.
If he's holding a lightsaber.
Yeah.
You said so many ones that starting off who I was going to pick.
Adam Sandler.
I was going to say Will Ferrell. After you said the other
That
guys, Will Ferrell just kept popping around. Or Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Is he The Mask to you?
Either The Mask or Dumb and Dumber.
Not Ace Ventura? See, this is where our brains just differ. Like, if you say Jim Carrey, he's Ace Ventura. And now Dr. Eggman.
The Mask. Dr. Eggman's a good one. But he's either The Mask or...
Also, Will Ferrell, who is he?
You really want to know?
Is he the other guys?
No.
Okay. Now, yeah, I really want to know. What is it? Elf?
No.
Step Brothers? Talladega Nights?
Nope.
Blades of Glory?
Talladega Nights is second.
Blades of Glory?
Nope.
The basketball movie?
Nope.
What fucking movie is he in? What dumb shit are you about to pull on me?
The dad from the Lego Movie.
Are you Lord Business?
Yeah.
You know else in that movie? Morgan Freeman.
Uh-huh.
Oh. That hurts so much. Also, Chris Pratt's on my list for not a single person. Because of Parks and Rec. Is he just Star-Lord?
Star-Lord.
Between Parks and Rec, because I binged that whole series and it's one of my favorites.
You know who is on my list for one person?
Who?
Bradley Cooper. Because I so often forget that he's Rocket.
Who is he then to you?
Chris Kyle. American Sniper.
I forgot that movie existed.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper's one of those people where, like, I see his face. I'm like, oh yeah, he's a famous actor. And you're like, what movie is he in?
That's a great question.
That's crazy.
He's also the
Same thing with like Zac
president,
Efron.
mayor, something in Invincible. Is that what it's called? The movie where the guy takes the drug that unlocks all of your brain. It was a TV show too.
That's wild. Lucy?
No.
That definitely has that movie's definitely about the same exact thing though.
Basically, he gets this.
It also has
drug
Morgan
that
Freeman in it.
unlocks all of your like. It's based on the you only use 10% of your brain thing.
I'm almost positive you're talking about Lucy. That's the exact concept for this movie.
He takes the drug and he works for the FBI.
Isn't Invincible like a football movie?
Bradley Cooper TV.
We're doing a lot of research this episode.
It's gonna be a long ass episode, and I'm okay with it. Limitless. That's what it is.
Yep, that was a big thing in like 2013.
What,
like you only use 10% of your brain. Everybody's like, I'm gonna take this and run with it.
If I shoot you in 90% of the head, you're still gonna die.
Yeah, you use 100% of your brain, just not all at once. Like it's not like overload. Like it's just your brain is so dumb.
Anyways, the thing I had to say on The Dark Knight. I don't know if this is a hot take, cold take, medium warm take.
Lukewarm take?
I don't know. It's a take. The Dark Knight would not be as good as The Dark Knight is if 9/11 had not happened.
I don't know where I thought you were going with that statement, but 9/11 was not on my radar.
Wasn't there?
No. You're gonna cut this part out. I felt like I was in the plane, and it just... It just happened, I don't know.
Oh, holy shit.
So, are you sure you mean The Dark Knight and not, like, the one with Bane?
Either one of them.
Just the whole series?
I mean, maybe not Batman Begins, but Dark Knight and Dark Knight Returns.
You wanna break this one down for me, bud?
Okay. Batman is definitely one of, if not the most down-to-earth superheroes.
Yeah, that's his whole shtick.
Exactly.
He's just a human.
He is a human who has the power to do good, will do good, and will not kill.
Yeah.
He is the only hero off the top of my head that I know has never broken his no-kill rule in the comics. Even Spider-Man has broken it. Like, if you push Spider-Man to the breaking point, he will break it.
Yeah. Batman knows if you break him, he's going to be a villain.
The Joker, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
And that's what I want Christian Bale to say when he plays the Joker.
Agreed. Throwback to last week. Anyways, you have this down-to-earth superhero. You have this regular guy who can and will do good. Post 9/11, this gritty, like, human of a hero is exactly what the world wanted and needed. Especially the U.S. market.
Okay.
I don't think the gritty... in the bigger picture, the gritty, dark hero movies are not what they are without 9/11. The Dark Knight is just the cornerstone of the gritty, darker hero movies.
Okay. I get where you're coming from, is what I'll say. That was just a hell of a take. I don't even know if it's hot or cold. It's just, I wasn't ready for it. It's a take, yeah.
Yeah.
You think we also needed a Spider-Man right after? 2002? You need your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
The problem with Spider-Man is it was planned before. If you go watch, there's a trailer
where the Twin Towers
Spider-Man
are still there, yeah.
stops a helicopter between the Twin Towers.
That would have been such a badass shot.
Agreed. If that movie had come out in like 08, 09, perfect shot. The fact that movie came out in 2002,
they had to edit out the Twin Towers from some of the scenes.
But yeah.
Were those the tallest buildings at the time in the world?
I don't know.
No? They were the tallest buildings in New York, right?
Probably.
Okay.
Empire State might have had them beat.
No.
No?
No. Chrysler Building was the tallest building in the world, like the 30s. Anyway, just curious.
I don't know.
I don't know if that's on your pot of knowledge.
Sears Tower probably would have been up there, because I don't think the Burj Khalifa would have been.
Burj Khalifa was like much more recently.
Yeah, so probably the
I think
Sears
within
Tower.
our lifetime.
Probably Sears Tower.
Okay.
Now we're gonna pause because I have to have him watch something.
A game trailer?
Not a game trailer. Okay, he has now been shown the interview
James Gunn
promo trailer. I don't know, the thing on the DCEU slate for the next, let's say, 8 to 10 years. What are your thoughts?
I think James Gunn listens to the podcast.
I think James Gunn is a kid in a candy store right now.
Oh my god, he's
he
so
sounded
giddy.
so excited talking about it. He was like, and we're turning it into a science fiction epic film.
It's gonna be a horror movie. Like, he just seems so. First of all, this is exactly what the DCU needs. By the way, DCU, much cleaner.
Do not comment on that thing that you looked at me when he said. That's for last.
Okay.
Near the beginning, you know,
Okay.
the line I speak of.
Not quite. That's okay. Oh, okay.
We're gonna save that for last.
Okay.
However, this is DCU. I love it.
Yes. DCEU always felt fucky in my mouth.
I feel like it was them trying to be different from the MCU.
But they should.
And James Gunn said, nope,
No.
we're not doing
it
that.
It works. DCU, call it a day. And then DC... Elseworlds? Beautiful. BEA, beautiful.
That's how I learned to spell beautiful. Especially because the DCU is supposedly going to include movies, TV,
and
video games.
That's going to be the killer. I think that this could be the switch from MCU to DCU.
I am cautiously very optimistic.
Very optimistic.
Because this could be amazing, but it also has the intense possibility
to really mess
to
up.
Crash and burn.
Like, the idea of having the same actor voice act an animated series of the same character is amazing. But, ooh-wee, can you fuck this up? Between the fans getting upset how you write the character differently, how you draw the character differently, how the actor themselves is like, I'm a multi-million-dollar actor, I'm not going to voice act. Like, there's so many things that can go wrong.
I will say, having James Gunn at the helm, having somebody at the helm, having James Gunn at the helm certainly helps because you have that overarching mind that has its fingers in all the pots.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have 18 different people running 18 different projects.
This man's like, I am in charge of DC.
He specifically was like, I wrote all the episodes, and then when he talks about Superman, movie. He's like, I'm in the middle of it, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, like, he's in control, and that's what they need right now. They need 100%. James Gunn the way they needed, the Russo brothers?
Yes. Or just Kevin Feige.
A human being that's just like, this is how we're doing it.
Kevin Feige is the top of Marvel. The Russo brothers directed a lot.
I love Kevin Feige.
Let's talk about... First things first. I saw this clip a couple of places while I was writing the show notes today. To all of the Zack Snyder... Kids, cover your ears. To all of the Zack Snyder whores out there, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. We're not bringing back the Snyderverse. The Snyder Cut was good.
That's it, though.
That's where it ends. Batman was a murderer. Superman was depressed. Wonder Woman was okay, I guess. But
Wonder Woman was Gal Gadot.
Let's just shut up.
Aquaman was the best.
Aquaman was the best. We're not selling the movie rights to Netflix. That's not how this shit works. Move on.
Anywho.
Anyways. Second thing I want to talk about. There's a Swamp Thing horror movie.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
I love that you're having Swamp Thing, period. The fact that it's a horror movie, tenfold, doubly give it to the next person. It's so great.
I love it. The Multiverse of Madness, I was like, how good can a superhero horror movie be? And then it was amazing.
It was really good. Anyone who trashes it is just
Doctor Strange,
an MCU hater.
And that was with Doctor Strange and Wanda, who aren't the worst for it, but also not the best. You can fuck some shit up with Swamp Thing.
He's a monster. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
He's the monster from the Black Lagoon, pretty much. Like, he's the shit. So, very excited for that horror movie.
Extremely.
And then the last thing on our movie slate here today, before we get to games, there is one line near the beginning of this. I'm going to call it a trailer from here on out.
Okay.
Near the beginning of this trailer, where Kevin Feige says that they'll have Shazam: Fury of the Gods, which is nice because Shazam doesn't always fit in with the DCU. He's kind of off on his own. And that will lead into the Flash movie, which is a movie that will reset the DCU. So, first and foremost, James Gunn, you know where to mail my checks. You're welcome. Second,
because somebody definitely said Flashpoint?
Flashpoint, Crisis, either one. Don't care which they go with. I have been saying it for years.
So James Gunn, hit us up. We'd appreciate it.
Dude, I'll take an email. I don't care.
Picture? Sure. Selfie. Let's go with it.
Works for me. Anything. No. This is 100% what the DCU needs.
Just that hard reset? Or soft reboot?
Soft reboot. Because with either way, Flashpoint or Crisis, personally I think they should go with Flashpoint.
Yeah.
But Crisis would work too. Crisis is definitely
It sounds like they're
headline.
definitely going with Flashpoint.
Plus they did Crisis in the CW.
Okay.
That was the end of the CW, was Crisis.
So, and this gives the perfect way to, we're going to keep Jason Momoa because he's a great
keep Jason
Aquaman.
Momoa. You
Keep
can keep
Gal
Gal
Gadot.
Gadot.
But
You can switch Henry Cavill.
and
You can
Ben Affleck.
switch Ben Affleck. You can have those characters be different. Superman isn't depressed anymore. Batman doesn't kill people.
We can reset.
You can fuck some shit up.
You can reset what you need to and keep what you love. It's perfect.
You can, and they will, change Ezra Miller from being the Flash if they don't do that before the movie starts.
Yeah.
Also Grant Gustin.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I'm very cautiously optimistic for the future of the DCU.
Yes.
And then we probably should have gone here first because there isn't much, but we do have games to finish off
We're going to
with.
close it off with games.
Cool. You a fan of Dead Space?
Ooh. That itches a spot in my brain, but it's not clicking right now.
It's wild. There's a new
What?
Dead Space game. Guy
I've
with the
seen this trailer.
steel mask and the blue coming through it.
Nope.
It's wild. There's a new Dead Space game.
That's crazy.
I don't really care.
I
either,
really
but
wish I had
don't
more
know if
money
you
to just
Right?
play games, watch movies.
did. Right? And then the one that we actually might talk about for a semi amount of time, Horizon Call of the Mountain. Are you familiar with the Horizon series?
Yes.
Okay. I was in GameStop one day. Little old me. Not little.
Little.
Whenever Horizon...
Little in quotation marks.
Whenever Horizon came out. Horizon Forbidden Dawn?
Sure. Because West was the last one, right?
I think so.
Sure.
Whenever the first one came out. And you know how they have the Game Informer...
Magazines?
No, not the magazines. The... two people that sit on a couch and just talk about upcoming games.
Oh, and it's just on the screen GameStop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have that, and as I walk into the store, the guy on the screen goes, "Have you ever wanted to shoot robot dinosaurs with a bow and arrow?"
And you were like, mm-hmm.
Yep, that's the one. Yeah, why? And then they go on about Horizon, and I pre-ordered that game that day.
Yeah.
And I loved that game. And then when I got my PS5, I played Forbidden West.
Okay.
Loved that game. Problem is, Horizon Call of the Mountain is a PSVR exclusive.
PSVR exclusive? Ooh.
If there's one thing that can get me to buy a PSVR, it's
this?
probably shooting robot dinos with a bow and arrow.
In VR.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, I might buy a PSVR, because who doesn't want to shoot robot dinos with a bow and arrow?
Yeah. And just look like you're actually doing it.
Agreed. But it is the third one of the series. I don't know if it's going to, actually progress the story at all, or just be,
Just add it on.
I don't know if you're going to be Aloy.
Usually when it's VR, it kind of takes off a tangential turn.
It would be nice to see, maybe the story of how... I can't remember his name. Aloy's father.
Okay.
It'd be nice to see how he got kicked out of the village.
Okay.
Actually go into that story and play as him, but maybe not. I might buy a PSVR. I might buy Horizon Call of the Mountain. I might play Horizon Call of the Mountain on PSVR and shoot robot dinos with a bow and arrow.
All right.
Is there anything else you have to add to any of our categories today?
What are we setting up for next week?
Our
Comic book movies?
that comic book movie bracket.
Okay. How many do we want to put in?
We'll figure it out later.
Okay. Other than that,
I don't think I have anything.
we'll see you guys next week.
So check back next week.